Welcome to Demming Chronicles Season 2. This program focuses on persons whose ideas and opinions are different. They are ideas that can change our country and can change our region. On today's program, we have Jadine Yarde. Jadine, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Blessings, and thanks for having me.
Tell me, you are coming to us from Nevis. What do you do in Nevis?
I am the CEO of the Nevis Tourism Authority.
The CEO of the Nevis Tourism Authority. That's a big job. And I congratulate you on such a big post. But there are big expectations. Tell us, what are the expectations of Nevis in terms of tourism in the future?
Well, our main focus is obviously to bring persons to the destination. So how we do that is really understanding what it is that people are looking to experience, but also understanding what we have to share with the world. So my job is really to get a strong team in place, make sure that we have a sales team that is able to provide packages and things that would entice persons to choose a destination, making sure that our stakeholders are happy, that the product development is in place, and ensuring that our messaging is very clear and streamlined.
Wonderful. Where does Nevis fit your tourism project or your tourism expectations? Where does that fit in terms of the Caribbean, the region? Are there challenges there?
Yeah, I think overall in the Caribbean, there's a lot that can be done. I think that we have a lot to offer. Obviously, sand, sea, and sun is typically how things are positioned, but I think there is a lot more to offer outside of that. And it really does take a lot of research, development, but trial and error, just trying to figure out exactly what can work best. But I do think it's really getting into the culture, because that is really what sets us aside from anywhere else in the world. So I think regionally, it is important for us to know what our differences are, but also play on the things that make us very similar.
Are there any synergies that you see with the region that Nevis could, collaborate to ensure that the region's tourism sector benefits?
Yeah, certainly. I think when we first started, well, when the pandemic first hit, we thought it was important as a destination to work with the other islands. So we actually started a project that included St. Barts, St. Martin, both French and Dutch, Anguilla, St. Kitts, Saba, and Statia. And what we did was create a destination video that spoke to island hopping. And the purpose of that was to show how important it is to come to the Caribbean, but not just to experience one island, to experience as many as you can. I think the major challenge for us really is airlift. But what we did with that video was position ourselves as the one-stop shop. So if persons are thinking of going as far as Europe or as far as Asia, we say, hey, you can come to these islands and experience something different in each of them. Now, again, I think our culture is very similar. Our origins are very similar, but there's nuances to that, of course. So I think that through our collaboration, we were able to see those differences. Through our research, we're able to see those differences, but we are also, again, able to see that very thin thread that ties us together.
You talked about regional airlift. Can you make a few comments more about airlift and how that impacts your tourism project or your tourism package?
Well, I think airlift is a major component in terms of how tourism works, because if there is not significant airlift and there is not enough ways to get to your destination, then you're obviously disadvantaged to some degree. And for us, it's really understanding, our source market. And when I say that, I mean, obviously, the main area or the main place that people choose to come and visit the destination. So airlift has, I think, been challenging, especially in interregional travel, because of the expense. Obviously, if I'm going over to Trinidad on Liat or a Caribbean airline, it is significantly higher to do that. Whereas if I'm going from New York to Paris, I might get a ticket that's close to the same price. So we understand that, and we understand that each of the islands and each of the countries, have certain things that they need, and we're hoping that through further development, and I think even with this pandemic, it allows for us to have more open conversations regionally to figure out how can we make the region stronger. And again, I think island hopping is a major component, because you don't have to just experience one place. You can experience so many different foods, so many different languages, so many different cultures overall. If the airlift was allowed us to be able to hop over, if I could go over to Trinidad and then come over to Barbados for X amount of dollars, that I might be more enticed to do that. Whereas if the price is astronomical, obviously there will be some hesitation there. So I think airlift obviously plays a major role in tourism.
We've had a problem with airlift for as long as I can remember. Do you see us solving this, and how? How can this be solved?
Yeah, I think I think it's a very touchy topic, because again, you have to make sure that your country is able to sustain, and taxes obviously allow us to sustain in many regards. So I do think that there are opportunities for change. I think that there are just more open conversations, exploring the options, not being very stuck to one way, because I think that would open up a lot of opportunity. I know in our conversations over the past year, we've looked at ways to diversify our overall products, but also how we can make airlift work in the region. I think those conversations are going to take some time. I think there's a lot of conversation that will need to gear towards being open to change, but I do think that there is a fix. We just need to, be open to change overall.
All right. And tell me, what is your dream for Nevis tourism? What's your big dream for Nevis tourism?
I think my dream overall for tourism is for us to understand that we are not selling ourselves, but we're sharing our experiences. I think a lot of times we look at tourism as, it has to fit in this particular model, but we have to understand that we change and evolve as people. So it's important for us to understand what it is that we are offering, what makes us unique, what makes someone want to come and visit this place. And a lot of times when we've done our research, or we've conducted surveys, we found that people are really connected to the people of the island. And so with that being your biggest USP, it's important that you work with people and you understand how things evolve over time. So I really do hope that for Nevis Tourism Authority, but like I said, tourism on a whole, especially regionally, we really hone in on what makes us unique. The Caribbean is such a special place. And I say a place and not, trying to group everybody together, but we have something in common. And that is that resilience, that pride, that culture, that confidence. And I think with us being very vocal about that, and when I say vocal, I mean using the technology that is in front of us to shout at the rooftops about our diversity and why we're special. And I think that is really my main dream, is for, Caribbean people to just be very proud of, where they came from and what we have to offer overall. And it's not just sand, sea, and sun, you know what I mean? So I think that's really important.
Would you like to share some more views about that comment you made about we're not selling ourselves, but we're selling the experience?
Mhm.
What was the motivation for that comment?
Yeah, I think a lot of times, because of the tourism industry just being what it is. So persons, are employed. They sometimes feel like they're not a part of something. It's just a job for them. So in the hospitality sector, you really want to ensure that people feel like they're a part of something greater than just I'm trying to make a dollar, right? And so when we say, sharing rather than selling, it's showing that it's you that people are trying to experience. It's not just sand, sea, and sun. Yes, of course, there are destinations that people really don't care, where they're going. Just give me a beach chair and let me hang out. But I think that is going to change over time, and we saw that changing even before the pandemic. And so I think it's really about what again makes you unique, what makes your island unique, what makes your country unique. It's really about emphasizing that, making sure that the people feel like they are part of something, letting them understand that you can also create a business that is tourism centered and that you own and that you manage. And so I think that is, the derivative of my comment is really of understanding how we can share rather than looking at it as I'm selling myself or I'm selling my time. It's really sharing. And I use this analogy of somebody coming to my house. When they come, I want to make sure that they have a nice glass of wine or they have really great water, either room temperature or having ice in it. I want to make sure that they have a nice meal. They're able to taste my hand. And you do that. And that's why you say you're sharing, you're sharing your experience, you're sharing your home with someone else. And you're not necessarily selling.
And if you had to speak to young people about the tourism sector, what would you say to them?
I would say that you can own something. You can do something innovative that can change things dramatically. You can use the skill sets in which you've been able to capture and cultivate over this time period. We are moving in a digital space, and we have to understand that the only thing that's constant is change. And so with that understanding, we know that we have to change the way we do things. So even during this time, our tourism authority had to become digital. We had to make sure that we were pumping out videos and content for people to be able to connect with. They're not able to physically come, or they were not able to physically come last year, but now they are able to see so much of the destination through a computer screen or through an iPhone. And so for young people that are looking to enter the tourism sector, I think it's important to understand what is it that you want to gain from that experience. Again, not looking at it as a selling, opportunity to sell yourself, but share yourself. And if that means that you're good at tech, if that means that you're good at, cooking, there's so many different areas and avenues in which you can work in the tourism sector, because again, it's people coming to a place that they've never been before, and that's a tourist, right? And so it's important for us to know what that means and how many opportunities really do exist within that sector.
Thank you very much, Jadine Yarde. Have you any closing comments you wish to make?
Well, I would just thank you for allowing me to share. And, any person that is looking to understand more about Nevis, we're always available and accessible via our social platforms. Nevis Naturally.
Nevis Naturally. Thank you very much, Jadine Yarde, Demming Chronicles. And today we explored another island in the region. Like and share our editions. It's all part of understanding our Caribbean peoples and who we are and what we can do. Demming Chronicles, like and share it. And until next time, be safe.